started. As everybody will filter in and settle down. My name's Todd German. Welcome tonight. Looks like we got a great turnout. The way it's going to work tonight, this is our call for candidates. And no, it's not the call for candidates. Back up. This is our Meet the Candidates event. The difference being that today at noon, we found out who's really running and who's not going to run. So this event is so you can meet them, because sometimes there's surprises. There was a couple. We were going to have Joyce Griffin speak, but I don't see her yet. If she comes in, we will have her give a little spiel on voter registration, absentee ballots, and the rest. But since she's not here, we're going to get right into it. We have some time, so each candidate that has an opponent will get 3 minutes tonight. That means take your 2-minute speech and just be relaxed with it. Our good friend Mona Clark, who is an incumbent for Key West Utility Board CA, has volunteered to go first. She volunteered because I told her she had to. So Mona, it's all yours.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me? Yes. I don't even need a mic, but my name is Mona Clark, Mona C. Clark, and I am running for re-election to the Utility Board. What I may lack in stature, I more than make up in experience, and my track record for the utility speaks for itself. I have served on the utility board since 2004 and have remained in that post thanks to the trust my constituents have put in place in me. As election season heats up, we all hear about change. Change is good. The need for change, the need for fresh ideas. If you take a look at Keys, you will find that from bottom to top, we change, and we are change agents personified. We are celebrating our 75th anniversary this year, all in part to the fact that we constantly work on doing and becoming better. The reliability of our power is nationally recognized. Our responsiveness to storms, after storms, great storms, small storms, is evident and most evident in the past September, this past September. Our commitment to growing our efforts in green is strong, stronger than ever, as we recently entered into one of the largest municipal backed solar projects in the nation. And given all that it takes and requires to provide power to our chain of islands over the ocean, our rates remain fair. Credit for this achievement, all achievement, I'm going to go quick. All achievement for Keys lies with its great staff. But they are also required to have a good, solid board. One that is solid and invested in the issues. One that is versed in the issues. One that is in tune with our community. One that is capable of making decisions that not only are far-reaching, but have a great impact. I believe that I am the best candidate for this position, and I'm seeking your vote in August. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
And that was for 2 minutes. Next up, our challenger for that seat is Jim Marquardt. Up front, we're filming back there, Mike. Can you?
Sold out?
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Can you hear me, or do I need to hear myself? Thank you, Skipper. The man with the hand. My name's Jim Marquardt, and if you don't know me, I'm the general manager of the Gardens Hotel, Twin Green certified. Thank you. I have a cold. Twin Green certified since Kate bought it in 2005. We do so much for green energy there. I ran for the utility board before. I ran on a green platform, and I still am running on that green platform. Some of the solar energy that Mona brought up, it's true. It's not happening until 2021, and we're only getting 5 megawatts on that. Hurricane Irma had a horrible, horrible destructive force with families and people and with the utility. The utility still has not been reimbursed from FEMA. $40 million is what I'm informed. So budget is going to be very, very tight, and the budget's going to have to be looked at even more closely than we have before. One thing about the utility board and talking to people tell me that it's kind of dark. They kind of don't know what they're doing. Not that they don't know what they're doing, but the public doesn't know what they're doing. Sitting in on meetings, the staff at Keys Energy is very efficient. They bring tasks to the board, and the board has to make answers to those and make decisions on what's wrong. Sometimes those decisions aren't what I would agree to. I would be for green now. I would be for wind and water propeller technology. The one thing that we were laughed at when we brought to the board about the new seat, that would never happen. That would take an act of God. That legislature has to be done. It's done, isn't it? And how many people do we have running for that seat? So that's one thing that was never able to be done, but it can be. Solar can be done. We have it at the hotel. Our refuse to energy, 60-40, recycle over landfill. So I appreciate your vote. If you vote for me, if I'm going to be running out here, I have a 6 o'clock appointment, but my phone number, 305-304-7683, Jim at Gardens Hotel. I'd be happy to talk to you at any time. Stop in, I'm always there. And I appreciate your listening to me and taking the time for this, and I hope to satisfy you with the utility board C-Day.
Next up is Utility Board Member Seat B, Stephen Wells, and Steve won without opponent, so that's a great way to win. He will get 1 minute to say thank you.
Thank you. My name is Steve Wells. Just want to say I'm happy to be on the board again. The first 3 years did a lot of learning and probably still will continue to learn, but I promise to do the best of my ability to meet all the needs that we have out there for sustainable energy. And anybody have anything I can help you with, please feel free to call me at any time. And thank you again very much.
Thank you, Steve. Now, the next seat is the one we talked about. It's a new seat that runs for the Lower Keys. And this election is very different because every previous year, the only people that could vote for Keys Energy seats lived in was just Key West. Now it goes all the way to 7 Mile Bridge. It'll be interesting to see how that changes the dynamic. So before we start this, I'd like, if everybody would, if you're on Facebook, tag us, tag yourself, let people know that you're here, testing the fire limits of this room, Jed. And we're also streaming live, right? No. Working? Well, we're working on it. Hopefully, when we are, I'll let you know and you can tell everybody to watch. Okay, we are being recorded. It'll be on our YouTube channel. Moving along. Key West Utility Board, Seat D. We're doing reverse alphabetical order at the request of one of the candidates, and next time we'll do alphabetical order. I want to make sure everybody's mad at me. We will bring up Beth Ramsey Vickery. Beth, come on up.
Hi y'all, I'm Beth Ramsey Vickery, and I'm running for the Key West Utility Board for this new Seat D. I'm running because I care about your cost, our community, and the conservation of our keys. I'm a successful businesswoman. I retired 12 years ago. For the past 10 years, I've been actively working on our local utility and conservation issues and policies. First 6.5 years as a private citizen, then another 3.5 as your county planning commissioner. I've also served 6 years on the Keys Energy Advisory Board. Local experience and involvement matters. Local experience and involvement matters because the function of the Key West Utility Board is to form the direction, the policies, and the goals of the utility, and to guide the financial direction of the utility. I am the only candidate with experience and involvement in forming our local county policies and goals regarding utility and conservation efforts. And I'm the only candidate with experience sitting on a local governmental board that has decision-making authority. As your county planning commissioner, I help manage and advance utility and conservation policies and initiatives and goals. And I helped write the new 2030 County Land Development Code. Before I became a planning commissioner, I, as a private citizen, spent more than 3 years attending over 50 meetings, updating the county's new 2030 County Comprehensive Plan. I focused on utility and conservation sections. This is really important because the public process of updating the county comp plan is the time where we, as private citizens, have a major voice in our county's future policies and goals on a wide array of subjects, including electric utility policies and conservation initiatives. Yet I am the only candidate that was involved in this process. I'm the only candidate that participated. I'm the only candidate that went to those meetings. My focus then and now remains on the local concerns we all care about: cost, community, and conservation. I want to help reduce customer electric bills. That starts with increasing community outreach and bringing new home energy audit and expanded conservation education throughout our community. We can't fix all the world's energy problems, but we certainly can work on lowering customer costs in our own Keys community through better conservation. I'm Beth Ramsey-Vickery. I'm asking for your support and your vote for the Key West Utility Board CD. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Next up, Walter Rinsky.
I can't believe this late in life I decided to become a politician. Anyways, I want to thank hometown, and in particular I want to thank my campaign manager, my best friend, my wife, Dr. Jean Gormley-Drabinski. She's sitting here, and if it wasn't for her pushing me, I'd probably be having a cocktail right now. I could speak about my education, experience as a utility engineer, manager, about my 25 years as a management consultant working with over 100 utilities throughout North America. I could talk about my community activities, the work I did on the grinder pumps, the work I did most recently after they started burning rubbish after Irma. But I think I want to focus on the question of why am I running? Some mornings I wake up and I ask myself the same question. This is my opportunity to utilize my education and expertise to represent the customers of Keys Energy and to work with the board as it directs management during difficult times. If anybody knows me, they know I don't just analyze numbers, I dig deep. I've dug through recent rate cases, capital budgets, operating budgets, reliability data, their 10-year plan. I've talked to FMPA about their contracts, I've looked at their contracts. There are a lot of issues that Key West Energy is going to be facing. They have the highest rates of any utility of any kind in the state of Florida. The highest. I don't think customers should live with this. They have almost $45 million that they spent on post-Irma that they're hoping to be reimbursed from FEMA. They haven't received a penny, and at the last board meeting, they agreed that they probably won't get it all back. They have, let me get to my notes because they've got deals with retirements, salary pressure, and the need to harden the distribution system for future storms. All of these things are expensive. What they need is somebody on the board who's an engineer. There are no engineers on the board. Somebody who understands finance. I got a finance MBA from Wharton. And somebody who truly cares that changes be made. This is what I've done for a living for over 30 years, and this is what I can do as a member of the Keys Energy Board. I ask for your vote. I think you will find that you won't be disappointed because my energy, my enthusiasm, and my willingness to work is unparalleled. Thank you.
Thank you all. Next up, Greg Daniels. While Greg is coming up, we can all wish his beautiful wife happy birthday.
Happy birthday, baby. Hi, my name is Greg Daniels. I have lived in Lower Keys for approximately 30 years now. I moved here in 1990. My lovely wife and I just recently moved up to Cudjoe Key from Good Coppin. We are long-term residents here and we plan on staying here. I have 18 years of experience working for a major utility here in the Keys. Through that 18 years of experience, I have managed fiber optic coax projects from Ocean Reef all the way through the tip of Key West. I have real-world experience managing multi-million-dollar projects. My biggest thing that I'd like to see with Keys Energy is I would like to see us open up a serious conversation about placing lines underground. For as long as I have lived in the Keys, we've always been told that it is impossible. It's expensive. I know it's expensive. It's 4 to 5 times more expensive to get lines underground. We need to start offering incentives for private citizens, developers, and other municipalities and governments to help us with putting lines underground. Other utilities that are similar to Keys Energy are offering those incentives. We can too. That is my #1 thing that I would like to work towards. We need to have that serious discussion and start planning to make it happen. #2, I would like to see some future planning for Keys Energy staff. Right now, lots of Keys Energy staff is at or near retirement age. Those people are going to be leaving, walking out the door with tons and tons of knowledge that needs to be transferred down to the younger generation. Doing that, offering some kind of incentive for those people will also help us save money. The last thing I would like to see, unless there are other issues with my big 3, I would like to see us take a very close look at the amount of contract labor that Keys Energy uses and the amount of, excuse me, the amount of consultants that we use. No offense to my friend Walt here, who is a consultant. But I think that we need to take a serious look at that. If you have any questions, comments, or would like to speak with me about anything I've talked about, please feel free to send me an email at greg@votegregdaniels.com or give me a phone call, pick up one of my cards. It has all the information. With that, I'd like to wish you, my lovely wife, a happy birthday. Even though Todd stole my thunder. Thank you all very much. And remember, vote Greg Daniels.
Thank you, Greg. Before we bring up Robert Barrios, Robert, you can be on your way. The manager said we've got to unclog the door. So he also said they just had all the floors cleaned, so you can take after Wayne here and relax. There's very good sight lines, but you've got to get away from the door, or we can't keep going. So, thank you guys. Thanks for cooperation. Robert Barrios.
Can everybody hear me? Okay, my name is Robert Barrios and I'm running for...
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We said it's time. You can't stand in front of people. Everybody's got to be polite. We got a lot of people here.
Okay, my name is Robert Barrios. I'm running for U.S. Utility Board CD. The reason I decided to run is simple. I want to give back to the company that provided for me and my family for over 28 years, and I want to give back to my community. This is a place I call home for 50 years. The #1 question that I get asked is, why do you want to run for the board, and also, what does the utility board do? So the utility board is a 5-member board, and their main function is to oversee the operations, expenditures, and the future endeavors of Keys Energy Services, which includes approving the budget, union contract, customer policy manual, and the 5-year strategic plan, which is reviewed periodically. They also appoint the chair and the vice chair, the GM, and the CFO. The board meets twice a month, and they attend workshops, and they go to national and state conferences. And for the record, the board has done an amazing job for the last several years. Thank you. Working at Keys Energy for over 28 years in various positions has prepared me for the next step as a board member, especially the last few years as a safety and risk officer, where I was part of the budget process, bidding process, including safety and insurance requirements for all of our vendors. But my most rewarding time at Keys has been working in the engineering department. In the engineering department, I coordinated our storm hardening project when it first came about. I enjoyed working with local electricians, our builders, and our customers of this town. The storm hardening project was one of the passions that I had because we've seen how our service has gotten so much better over the years, and it's because of the hard work that we did planning and getting to where we are now. Keys Energy is all about providing a safe and reliable, sustainable power to our ratepayers. When elected, I continue to promote employee and public safety, storm hardening, which ties into our reliability, and explore other sources of renewable energy. Knowledge is power, and with your vote, I'll bring my knowledge to the board. Thank you for your vote.
At the end. Thank you, Robert. We are at capacity. I want to thank the studios at Key West and Jed Dodds. Something you guys see as a theme tonight. We do thank him, but we also pay him. So, and we're a nonprofit. None of us get any money. So please join Hometown. If you haven't joined this year, it's an annual thing. So, but we really do. We don't go and do wild parties. We do this. So please join Hometown. Switching gears, we're going to do mosquito control to get things moving along here. We're going to bring up Mosquito Control District 2 Commissioner, Phil Goodman. Phil? We got plenty of room up here, guys. Come up if you want to sit along this.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Hometown, for this opportunity. My name is Phil Goodman. I am Commissioner District 2 in my second term and also the chairman of the Florida Keys Mosquito Control Board. And I am a retired business executive. I'm a chemist. I spent my entire career in the chemical industry in the private sector. And I am a registered parliamentarian. I do a lot of volunteer work in the community with several organizations really focusing on environmental protection for the Florida Keys. And I'm running on my record of the last 8 years of what we've accomplished at mosquito control, and we've accomplished a lot. It's not the same mosquito control we were in 2010, if you remember mosquito control from those days. You know, we're focused, we're proactive, and we really make things happen. Mosquito control today is a science, and it's a multifaceted science, technology-driven. And as a result, we use a lot of the latest technologies in mosquito control currently. We employ the latest, best business practices. And as a result, we're killing more mosquitoes than ever before, both the type that carry and transmit disease and the ones that are a nuisance to us. We're doing it more environmentally friendly. And we're doing it very cost effective. Our operating cost in 2017, last year, was the same as it was in 2012. And these things don't just happen on their own. They happen as a result of teamwork, of planning, and of leadership. And on the planning part, strategic planning has become a very important part of mosquito control in this modern age. And our budgets have stood the test of time. And also major incidents like the threat of Zika a few years ago, and also the hurricane this past year. And after the hurricane, we were up and running in just a few days as planned. And in addition, we have opened our new Lower Keys Operations Center recently, on time and budget. And we petitioned the legislature and the state government this past year, and we were granted term limits for mosquito control for the first time ever. So our commissioners now have term limits. And also the CDC has said that we are one of the best mosquito controls in the country. And one of the few that's really ready to fight the onset of potential increased diseases that these mosquitoes are spreading. But there's still a lot to do. And I ask for your vote in November. Phil Goodman for Mosquito Control, Commissioner District 2, so that we continue along this improved path. Thank you very much for attending, and thank you for being home.
Thank you, Phil. Is Ralph DePalma here? Ralph? Well, Phil has an opponent, it is Ralph DePalma. If you see Ralph, if he gets in late, let me know and we'll bring him up here. But, moving along, District 5, Tom McDonald is elected without an opponent. Come on up and say a few words, Tom. A very few words.
Well, I am very happy to not have an opponent, but I'm also really happy to be back on this board again. 20 years ago, I was up for re-election, and I decided not to run because I didn't like the way the board was moving at that point in time. But right now, I'm really happy, and the gentleman that just spoke, Phil Goodman, our chairman, has been chairman for 3 years. He's really leading us in the right direction, and because of that, I decided to run again. Thank heavens, I don't have an opponent, so I'm very happy, and thank you.
Thank you, Tom. I want to take a quick second to thank our audio video goddess in the back, Kelly Friend, who's been with us from the beginning. And she is just running the board tonight, but she can do sound and video for your home, anything you got. And we pay her too. So, join Hometown. Talk to Oscar over in the corner. Let's move to school board. Bobby Highsmith is the commissioner for District 1. Bobby wins without an opponent, so come on, Bobby.
Thank you guys very much. It's very humbling and just a great feeling to have been reelected without opposition, but I know it's not really me. I think it's a testament to the great shape that our school district is in right now. From top to bottom, especially our teachers are doing a phenomenal job. I'm very pleased that we had a new contract put in place. 96% of our teachers voted to ratify that, and so I think that in and of itself speaks wonders for our district. I'm very happy not to have to run again. I am going to miss seeing this all over the place, and I bring this out in testament to my friend John McIntosh. He's the guy that designed this for me. He was a great patron of the arts and supportive of museum, so here's to Todd. School board has put an initiative on the ballot to possibly raise the millage a little bit if we have to in order to cover the costs for school resource officers. We're hoping we're not going to have to make use of that, but I do think it's critically important that we have that tool in our kit so that we can keep our students safe and keep the dollars in the classroom and then continue to provide a world-class education that we have to. In conclusion, I think I've discovered that it is important. I do think it's a good thing that every board have a dick on it. We have one. I think he's doing a pretty good job, and I'd like to see it continue. Thank you guys very much.
Rather than just go right into the next school board seat, I'll let that sink in a bit. And we found Ralph DePalma. He's going to come up, back up and do mosquito control, and then we'll get back to the school board. That's tough to follow.
I've worked in high technology almost all my life, in aviation first, then space shuttle program. Then I came down here to develop software for mosquito control districts. And it was like a blank sheet of paper. We had
clipboards and AOL dial-up lines, and it was a fun job. Really fulfilling, taking them into the 20th century, so to speak. The technology gave us big advances in mosquito control, but it's kind of sad to see what's happened over the last 6 to 7 years of budget cuts and the effects on the organization and the personnel. I was part of the management team during 2009, 2010 when we stopped dengue fever here in Key West. Most voters and candidates, most voters are looking for candidates that will help change the current direction of our nation. I would like to help change the current direction of mosquito control here in the Keys. For the last 7 years, it's been subjected to extreme budget cutting restraints and damaged the fiscal balance sheet and the operational activities. The budget cutting has gone too far. FKMCD needs new leadership to change this direction. That's why I'm running for Commissioner of Florida Keys Mosquito Control District 2. I need your vote. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ralph. Back into school board, District 4, the incumbent is John Dick. Come on, John.
You know, I had a world-class speech. I was really going to knock the socks off, and everybody here was going to vote for me, but now I lost it with that. I'm going to tell you something that happened a few years ago, sort of along the same line. So I'm in the Rotary in Marathon, and there was a fellow there that ran for the mayor. His name was Chris Bull. Chris Bull went around and he had his signs. They were cut out like a bull, and so you could see the sign from anywhere, and you knew that was for him. So in Rotary, you know, we put a couple of dollars in the kitty and you say something. So he won his election that time. He won. Chris Bull became the mayor. And actually became the mayor of Marathon. So I stood up and I put a couple of dollars in the thing, and I said, you know, my next election's coming up soon, and I'm going to do what Chris did, those name recognition signs. Now, you guys are better, because in that room, a third of the people laughed right away, another third laughed about 30 seconds later, and there was some I had to tell them later on what I was talking about. So anyway, let me get back to my great speech, if I can remember any of it. But years ago when I first ran, I ran with a thing of dollars to the classroom. That was my campaign, and that's what I promised to do. I was unhappy that the teacher salaries were, they were around the middle, the average of the state, and yet we were getting far more money on a per student basis than any other district in the state of Florida. And I said, we need to put our dollars into the classroom. We were putting in at the time around 54% of our general fund into the classroom. I am very proud to say at this time we're at 67% of that general fund into the classroom. And the change to that is we stopped spending money on, like the fellow over there said, consultants. We got rid of a lot of positions that were unnecessary. We had a lot of teachers on special assignment, meaning they were not teaching in the classroom. And so what that has done, by moving those funds into the teacher salary, we are the highest paid teachers in the state of Florida. We're $10,000 above the average and a couple of $1,000 over the highest. That's what we've done. And another thing, we used to build one school and save up the money and work. We cleaned up our capital fund, and we right now, as of today, we are building 3 schools. One here in Key West, Gerald Adams. We're rebuilding Switlick and Marathon, and we're rebuilding PKS in the Upper Keys. And then we're doing this, and we'll have no problem paying for these things. This is the kind of intelligence that I brought to the board with financial background. Plus, I worked in Marathon High School for 5 years as a counselor. And during that time, I knew and found out what the students need to go on to college or go on to a job. And we've greatly increased what our college participation, and we've added courses to the vocational that are now certified. I just this year helped Coral Shores High School certify their automotive program, and we're going to do the same thing here in Key West this upcoming year. My time is up. Thank you.
Thank you, John. John's opponent in this race is Jim Duran. Jim, come on up.
Hi, everyone. I'd really like to thank Hometown for this opportunity. I think this is an amazing thing they do for all of us. My name is Jim Doran, and my students and their parents like to call me Dr. Jim. I am running for the Monroe County School Board in District 4, and I'm running because I am passionate about helping children succeed. I am running because our children deserve and need an experienced educator on the board. When Martin retires this year, after 45 years at Monroe County Schools, there will not be an educator on the board unless I am elected. I am running because this is my home, and I care deeply for this community. I have been a student, a teacher, an administrator, and an educational leader in schools from nursery through the graduate levels of university. I have a bachelor's degree in teaching from Florida State University, a master's degree in education administration from the University of Miami, and a doctorate in education and curriculum instruction from the University of Central Florida, where my dissertation on student achievement and school characteristics was awarded the Outstanding Dissertation in 2004. I began my career in teaching in Key Largo in 1972, and in 1975 I was named Monroe County Teacher of the Year. I also started the now famous Key Largo Safety Patrol. After earning my master's degree, my wife and I began a career in international education that spanned 40 years in 7 countries across the globe. At every school that I led, we received the highest accreditation ratings when the school was evaluated. I know education. I retired 2 years ago and returned to our home in Isla Mirada to take care of my aging parents. And I now want to use my years of experience, both here and internationally, my depth of knowledge and education at all levels, and my passion for providing the best possible educational opportunities to children to support the students and the educators of the fabulous Florida Keys, the incredible place that gave me my start. By voting for me, you will ensure the children of our unique county will have an experienced, knowledgeable, and die-hard advocate on the Monroe County School Board. Thank you for your time.
Jim. Now switching gears, something that doesn't happen all the time. School Board District 5 was an open seat and only had 1 person file. So Sue Woltansky, you want to come up? She wins by default. And Sue's 1 minute for people like this. She came all the way down from Key Largo, but please try to, we got a whole page of people.
So at noon today, at Baby's Coffee, I learned I was the next District 5 school board member. And after years of advocacy for public education, I feel I'm ready to take this next step to support our key schools. I need to thank everyone who's supported me, both for my advocacy efforts over the years and for my campaign. A special thanks to Ron Martin, which, as Jim said, will, when he retires, have spent 45 years in service to the children in our community. Ron and Brenda were the first to encourage me to run for school board, and they've been supporting me throughout my campaign. I appreciate their steadfast support. I also want to thank Frederick Matthews, my friend and treasurer, and my entire campaign team. From the beginning, the community support has been really amazing, and I believe that reflects how much our community really cares about our schools. I'm a member of a statewide bipartisan legislative task force called Common Ground. We advocate for public education in Tallahassee. Tonight, some of my Common Ground colleagues are here to help me celebrate my election. We are composed of informed public education advocates from across the state and across the political spectrum. Working together, we've learned that despite our political differences, we have much more in common than not. I'm going to encourage everyone who's running today to reach out to your colleagues, or everyone who's here today, and find that common ground with the people around you. My goal as your school board member is to ensure our kids have high-quality, safe public schools that serve the needs of all our Keys children. Please reach out to me with any concerns. Thanks to Hometown PAC for giving me more than a minute. Thank you all.
Thank you very much and congratulations, Sue. Our video tonight, even though our live stream is on the Blink, we are videoing it. It will go to our YouTube page. That and our homepage are run by Two Oceans Digital. who's been, again, with us from the beginning. They do us a great deal, but we pay them. So, if you could, so Sheldon, am I doing good? So please join Hometown, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to present the County Commission District 2, which is coming up now. This is an open seat. George Nugent served for, I think, 73 years on the commission. So it is open, and first up we have Chuck Weitzel. I believe Chuck is out of town, so we're going to go to Tommy Ryan. Tommy, come on up.
Good evening, neighbors. My name's Tommy Ryan. I live in Big Pine Key. I'm your Democratic candidate for County Commissioner District 2. I got into this race because of the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. The lack of planning that we had for the aftermath was shocking. So I think with your vote and with me on the board, on the commission, that we can change that. We can make Monroe County the #1 county in the country in hurricane preparedness and in the aftermath of a hurricane. You can't have one without the other. Okay? And we also we need to address the affordable homes that we need in the county. Big Pine, as I said, in the Lower Keys, we lost over 700 homes. We need to address that issue. In the same breath that we address that issue, we need to address sustainable living wage. Last month in the county alone, we lost between 6 and 8 firefighters at the cost of tens of thousands of dollars to train those firefighters. So somewhere we need to adjust. We're losing them to our neighbors to the north, okay? And that's a lot of money to lose. So we need to do something to either adjust and save, because every time we lose those eight firefighters, we have to train 8 more. We're down with the sheriff's office. We're down with the city of Key West Police. We need to increase that. We also need to start taking care of some people who I think are very underserved in this county, and that's the young children and our seniors. Our seniors are I think, neglected. We need to start having some nice senior centers that they can go to. We need to have some good health coverage down here so that when you reach a certain age, you don't have to leave the Keys. You could stay here and get taken care of. There's a whole array of issues that are at the forefront of what we need to do. We do need a fresh voice. We also need someone who actually lives in the 2nd District to represent the 2nd District. So please, please, if you can, support me. My name is Tommy Ryan. I work hard for my neighbors. I will work hard for you. I'm always supporting my neighbors. Please vote Tommy Ryan.
Thank you, Tommy. Next up, Debbie Halama. Debbie Halama, right? Halama. Next up, Debbie Halama.
My name is Debbie Halama, and I am running for County Commission. My mission is to provide my district with an authentic voice in the county for District 2. The Lower Keys should be represented by somebody who actually lives there, works there, and genuinely cares about the people there. I have made Big Pine Key my home for many years, and I firsthand know the issues that plague our county. I have heard the voices of my neighbors. They want fair, honest government. They want that is responsive to the needs of our residents and our beautiful environment. Over the years, I've gained vast work experience that I feel qualified for the position and will enhance the commissioners that can contribute to the county. From my humble beginnings working with the U.S. Army and Air Force Exchange Services, sorry, I'm a little nervous, it's my first time, to running our local family business. I have what it takes to preserve and get the job done. My desire to beautify our community led me to the career of real estate, where I focus on local bank-owned properties that are eyesores and need reviving to enhance our neighbors. What's more, I have raised my children here in the Keys, and I have been an activist in our school system. I aided in the creation of the Big Pines First Middle School. and continue to serve on the School Advisory Council for the Key West Collegiate Academy. My goals to better our community begin with sustainable options for workforce housing. At the same time, I will complete cleanup for Hurricane Irma and to protect and preserve our rich environmental resources. I will collaborate with our schools to provide a safe haven for our children of the Keys. I will work with countywide to promote and revive our economy while delivering an unmatched tourist experience that is responsibly balanced with our local quality of life. Above all, I will listen. I will listen to the voice of my neighbors throughout the Lower Keys and carry their voices with me as I work to improve the quality of life of all of Monroe County residents. I love my community. I strongly believe in justice, integrity, and fairness. Everyone deserves authentic representation in government. And the very heart of this campaign is about reclaiming a long-forgotten political voice for the Lower Keys. Thank you.
We haven't got through everybody yet, but right now she wins best shoes. Michelle, next up is Michelle Kolar. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Michelle Coldarn, and I'm running for County Commission District 2 because our future matters. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, and I earned a degree in psychology. And in the corporate world, I was in pharmaceutical sales and director of marketing for a private psychiatric hospital. My family moved here 18 years ago. I've always believed in the importance of community service, and I belong to many organizations in the county. I also sit on the board of directors for AHEC, which is the Area Health Education Centers, countywide, that's a mouthful, as well as DAC3 for the Tourist Development Council. My passion is children and families. I've been a mentor with the Take Stock in Children program for 12 years. In 2009, I was hired by the state of Florida to be the Guardian Ad Litem program as the Child Advocate Coordinator, being the voice of children who've been abused, abandoned, and neglected. Currently, I sit on Marathon City Council, and this year I am the mayor. In that capacity, I have hands-on experience in balancing a municipal budget. I have encouraged and approved workforce housing projects. Unfortunately, I also now have firsthand experience in standing up an emergency operations center and every aspect of emergency management before, during, and after a hurricane. Regularly, I stand shoulder to shoulder with other elected officials going to Washington, D.C. and Tallahassee, lobbying for funds and money for our county and discussing matters of importance for our county. I want to take all of that experience and immediately put it to work for our county. I want Monroe County to be the best place to live, to work, to raise a family, to run a business, to retire, or to come on vacation. I have a very complex platform. Let me hit on 3 important issues. Continuing to protect our environment and our nearshore waters. Creating workforce housing where it's needed, where it makes sense, encouraging public-private partnership for those housing projects. And third, to continue our hurricane recovery, mitigation, and resiliency so that our families can stay here and our businesses can thrive. I'm here for you. This will be my full-time job, listening to the needs of our county and advocating for us so that we continue to be the best place to live. I ask that you vote for me, Michelle Coldarn, District 2, because our future matters. Thank you.
Gwen Filosa. I just wanted to point out Gwen because that way she'll tag me. Moving on to District 4 County Commission. David Rice is the incumbent. Come on up, David.
Thank you for being here tonight, and I have to say that because I truly thank you for having us, but I thank you most of all for caring enough about where you live to be here tonight. And for the many of you who over the years have provided information for me related to what you know you need in your communities. Thank you. I'm David Rice. I'm District 4 County Commissioner, presently, thanks to my fellow Commissioner Sylvia Murphy here, Mayor of Monroe County. I've lived in the Keys 45 years, but maybe more importantly, I've been married to that woman in the pink on the back row there for 55 years, and frankly, she's made everything possible. So, I have a lot to be thankful for. I enjoy my work on the County Commission. I'm a problem solver. I'm trained as a psychologist. I worked for many years in this county as a psychologist before getting on the County Commission. There was a lot of problem solving there for me and for other people, and somehow I see what we do on the County Commission is very similar. People come to us, they have issues, they have problems. Many times people don't quite understand how to get things done in government. It can be complex. Working with individuals is one of the more satisfying parts of what I do, to help them through the maze of the bureaucracy that's necessary to meet their goals. Being on the County Commission and making decisions that affect the future of Monroe County, you've heard me talk in the past about the balancing act, and that's really how I see it. It's a balance between the volume of tourism, our traffic issues, and providing workforce housing where we can live in our communities, our workers can live in our communities. I'm happy to say we're making some headway on some of those. I heard a nasty rumor that TDC is now talking about commissioning a study to evaluate the good things about tourism and the bad things and how to manage a balanced approach. That balance between those three issues is vitally important. Coming down here this morning, or not this morning, but it was this afternoon, from Marathon, I got reminded of the other thing that we need tremendously. We need to take some cars off the road, guys. It's awful. So these are the things that I believe are important to us to affect our quality of life. I'm David Rice. You don't get to vote for me until September. No, November. Sorry about that.
Thank you, David. Just got to keep us on schedule.
Joyce is here.
Oh, Joyce. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, kind of got me mixed up there. David's opponent is Vicky Tashjian. Hopefully I didn't tear that apart too much. But come on up, Vicky. You remember, just like with Debbie before, if you don't do this all the time, this is a lot harder than it looks. So, come on up.
Hi everyone, my name is Vicky Tashjian. I'm a 26-year resident of Marathon, Florida, and have lived in District 4 the entire time. I am a local business owner. I also have been heavily involved in our community throughout all of these years. With 10 years of that being with Sally Mishmash, we originally formed the Coral Reef Sweepers, and we coordinated the commercial fishermen with divers and NOAA to clean our reefs in that area and put out mooring buoys. And at the end of 10 years, we had managed to almost run out of trash, so we stopped for a while. Now somebody else needs to pick up that ball because we're a little too old to do it. Along with that, I've also worked on Relay for Life. I've worked with the Marathon Seafood Festival, the Coral Head Music Festival that the American Legion puts on to earn money for our veterans, and this past year they used it for Hurricane Irma victims. We move on into my heavy background in tourism. That I have done that for many, many years after trying out several other things. I currently have been on the TDC District 3 DAC for 14 years plus, and I have been the chair for the past 4 years. With that said, to add to that colorful background, I pulled 8 years on the volunteer marathon fire rescue team, learning how to do spinal trauma, CPR, drive the fire trucks and the ambulances if we were ever in such a disastrous situation. I come to you to run for county commission to help protect the rights of our citizens of this community, to take the emergency plan that has started going into place that is a great start, to push it even further, and to help write contingency plans for other things that can happen along this Long Island chain. We need to work on continuing our recovery from Hurricane Irma. We still have lots of areas in Big Pine, the lower Keys particularly, that need individual help as well as help from our county. We need to really move forward with this workforce housing and our affordable housing. We have people leaving daily that have finally thrown in their hats and said, I just can't make it. I love my job, but I can't find anywhere to live. On another note, sadly, we lose some people to suicide for these very same reasons down here. In Marathon, the Middle Keys Fishermen's Hospital has stepped up to rebuild, and it's very much needed, and we also need to handle our stance on that and make sure that they stay with their commitment. Our Florida Keys are truly a wonderful place to play, to live, to work, and to have a family. We have an environmental fragility to balance our tourism with our infrastructure and with our residents. This balance in the evacuation and reentry programs, our residents, is essential for keeping the Keys as our playground and to be able to allow some tourism here. Thank you very much. Vicki Tashton for District 4.
Thank you, Vicki. We're going to now move to a state race, state rep 120, or for District 120. The incumbent is Holly Rashine. Holly, come on up.
Thank you, Todd, and thank you so much to Hometown PAC for hosting us this evening. And it's just awesome to be surrounded by people who share in our mission to advocate and enhance our quality of life here in the fabulous Florida Keys. And it has been my honor to represent the Florida Keys at District 120 in the Florida House for the past 6 years. And I'm looking forward to my 4th and final term as your state representative. And since I was elected, our community has experienced a level of success in terms of impactful public policy not seen in recent history. We heard about a couple of the bills with the mosquito control term limits and also the modifications for the Keys Energy Utility Boards. And our successes in the state budget have been many. And as has been mentioned multiple times this evening, our community is currently undergoing the largest recovery effort in our island chain's history. And we've made tremendous strides, but there's still a lot of work to get done. And I'm very, very proud of the resources that I've been able to bring home from Tallahassee. And in my last term, I will be at the most senior level in terms of my years of service, and I'll be able to continue that steady stream of state funding. And my record as a steward of our special environment, including grappling with important issues like resiliency and climate change, as a housing advocate for an incredible workforce, and also as a champion for equal protections for the LGBT community, is a record that I'm proud of and something that I want to continue. And let me tell you, representing the Florida Keys presents some unique challenges, and it's precisely those challenges that drive me to serve you in the Florida legislature. So thank you again for coming out tonight to support your hometown PAC, and I hope to earn your vote for Holly Rashine for state representative one more time. Thank you.
Thanks, Holly. Now, in the local races, some are partisan, some are not, and I don't know that it's as important in the state races, but Holly is a Republican, and she's a Democratic opponent. He's here tonight, Steve Friedman. Steve?
Thank you, hometown. Thank you for having me. My name is Captain Steve Friedman. I'm from Isla Morada, and I'm a backcountry fishing guide, and I tell people what I do for a living is watch water. And I am your Democratic candidate for District 120. I'm very proud to be. I'm answering a call that I've been hearing from friends, businessmen, clients on the boat that are looking for an alternative. They don't want the status quo. They want somebody that's going to listen to them, that actually adheres to what they're trying to say, that they're calling out for a change. And in what I do, being on a boat every day for the last 18 years, watching this water, I've seen it degrade to the point of destruction. And when I tell you that it's on the precipice of disaster, it's not hyperbole. I've been listening to scientists, I've been out there. I've seen it, 2015, 40,000 acres of seagrass die right before my eyes, fish dying everywhere. And enough is enough. When are we going to wake up and realize that this is a national crisis, not just South Florida? I've been advocating for this for several years now as the Commodore of the Florida Keys Fishing Guides Association. I've been involved with the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary as a backcountry representative. I was a founding member of Florida Bay Forever. So I've been paying attention to these issues for a long time now, and I just don't see it accelerating. I see it mired in gridlock. And I am tired of that. I am absolutely disgusted. And if I could earn your vote to get up to Tallahassee, I promise you that I will listen to you, and that I will do what you want for your needs for this district. Please vote for Captain Steve Friedman. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, before we get to the City Commission, I have what they call a teaser, and that we just have some breaking news that will be front page, and it will be very controversial. And I'm not going to tell you about it for a little while. I hope you enjoyed the food out there that you paid nothing for. Fausto supplied that at a good discount. It was a discount, and we had to pay. So please, if you haven't join Hometown so you can eat and enjoy our events coming up later in the year. Okay, with that, we're going to do City Commission. Some of this will go through pretty quick because they're not here, but City Commission District 2, Sam Kaufman is the incumbent. Sam called me today. Sam is battling pneumonia. And I told him, I need the time anyway. So he really thanks everybody. He's honored, and he's going to keep working. Moving to District 4, we have a race because we have an open seat. Jen Stefanacci, she has filed and she had qualified, but she has a previous planned vacation with her child. And I saw the pictures on Facebook today, so she's really doing it. So you'll be seeing her in the future. We do have Greg Davila here. And Greg, come on up, tell us about yourself.
Hello, my name is Greg Davila, in case you don't know me, and many of you I haven't met yet. I am running for District 4 City Commission seat, which is a seat that's currently being vacated by Judge Payne, who's sitting back there wearing one of my t-shirts, and hi, Judge Payne, I appreciate all the support. I am an attorney here in Key West. I've been an attorney for 27 years, practicing here in Key West. I was fortunate enough to be born here in my hometown. And to me, everyone's asking me, why am I running for City Commission? Why am I doing this? The real reason is very simple, is I love Key West. And to me, Key West isn't the beaches, it's not the water, it's not the weather, it's not its geographical location on the map. Key West is us, the community of Key West. And that's why I'm running for Key West. And it doesn't matter to me whether Key West chose you, like it did for me, or whether you chose Key West. What's important to me is that everybody is choosing to live and work here together, because we all love this city. Now, what I really want to do is I want to focus the attention on the residents of the city of Key West. We've been very successful over the time in attracting visitors to our island, and I understand that tourism is vital to our community. However, I think now is the time to refocus and bring the attention back to us, the residents of the city of Key West. I think that every decision that's made Yeah, go ahead, made before the city commission needs to be judged first by how it benefits us, the residents of the city. So that's what I intend to do, to bring back the focus back to everyone in this room, or those of us that live here in Key West and they're in this room. So I understand our time up here is short, so I would really like to hear your concerns. I know you want to know about me, but I really want to hear about what your concerns are. So I'll be back there, and if we don't have time to meet tonight, our numbers on our literature, please give me a call. I'd be happy to set up some time and find out what you would like to know or what you would like to see for our city. So thank you for your time. I wish you vote for me, Greg Davila, City Commission, District 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Now moving to another open seat. This is very, very unusual for Key West to have so many open seats. District 5, we're going to start out with Wally Moore. Wally?
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out here tonight. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Wallace Wally Moore. I'm running for District 5 City Commissioner. I'm fortunate enough to be born and raised here. I live in a house I grew up in. I've been happily married now for 25 years to my wonderful wife, Valerie, who is also my campaign manager. I have two wonderful sons, Wallace III and Charles. I don't really have a top three as to what my priorities are, because without one, the other one doesn't go. We do need to have workforce housing. I just suffered 2 back-to-back losses at the base, 2 days apart. And we need to think outside the box. We need to deal with and work with these private developers. There's developers out there, I've met with them, they've got some awesome ideas. We need to ease some of the restrictions on them to make it affordable for them to build affordable housing. I'm a big, big proponent of public safety. And if it ever hits you personally, like it has my family, you're going to want it there. This idea of having an ambulance with one person running in it, you just don't get it. We need to fully staff public safety, the fire department, police department. And we can staff them all we want, but if they have nowhere to live, we're going backwards. And as Greg said, yes, tourism is our #1. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But we need to think about the residents that are here 365 days a year, because without us, tourism won't exist. I ask for your support. I'm having my kickoff party next Saturday, 6 to 8 at the VFW. My email is wallygator1983@gmail.com. My phone number is 305-923-8651. I promise I'll beat the 30 seconds. And look for me on my first ever Facebook page, Wallace Wally Moore at City Commissioner, District 5, thanks to my sister, my PR manager. And remember, you get more with Wally Moore.
Hey, Wally, I kind of think that Wally Gator, you could run with that. Wally's opponent is Mary Lou Hoover. Mary Lou?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you to Hometown and to the studios for allowing us to do this evening. Great turnout, everybody. I'm Mary Lou Hoover, and I'm running for the District Commission seat in Key West, District 5. What I'd like to say is my slogan for my campaign is say yes to progress. And by that, I mean progress on the issues that matter to us. Say yes to progress for safer streets and neighborhoods. As I've been going around the neighborhoods and talking to people, I have heard several different times about areas where we have not enough street lighting, where we have people that are gathering vagrants in certain areas. And I've actually taken some action on this already by speaking with our city manager and telling him about certain locations. And since I've done that, I found out that We have gotten those installations done, and now the police are also patrolling those areas, so we're seeing some progress on that. I've also been in touch with Holly Rashing about the dangerous crosswalks on North Roosevelt, and she is trying to get the installation of the pedestrian hawk signals moved up. So working together with some of the other officials in our community. I want to say yes to progress for additional field space for our children. Over the last several years, we have seen a dramatic increase in the number of participants, our children and adults. And we've also at the same time seen a lot of our field space come offline. So I've met with the group of mothers who started the Youth Recreation Action Committee to see how we can help them to achieve their goal of getting more field space for the kids. And I'd love to see that we update our city's agreements with the school system so that we know exactly what inventory that we're dealing with. Say yes to progress for the restoration of our tree canopy. Currently, all of the commissioners that are on the tree commission are appointed by the mayor. I would like to see a change in that policy and have each commissioner appoint a person from their district, because each district is so different, and that will bring some more additional knowledge and variations to the decisions that they make. And I'd like to see us really stay in touch with the fact that when somebody gets permission to remove a tree, that tree is then replaced with one of equal importance and quality at another location if that's what they want. Say yes to progress on comprehensive, affordable housing solutions. We need a housing intervention. That will require that we find the political will and the community will, and we have to take actions necessary for a successful strategy. Oh, ready? Hold on. Okay, I will say thank you to everyone, and now you know at least I'm on the right track on some of those issues. Thank you.
I don't know how hard this is. Most of these were designed to be 2-minute speeches. So, all right, we're moving to mayor. And this is the first open seat in a very long time. We have a very diverse crowd of candidates. It shouldn't be boring. As far as that breaking news, when we get through the mayor's candidates, I will. And I would like the mayor's candidates. I think some of you have been tipped off of it. Please stick to your script and we'll get to the rest. So we're going in reverse alphabetical order, almost. And Margaret Romero, you're going to start us off. Margaret, come on up.
Good evening, and thank all of you for being here. I'm currently your commissioner from District 5, and because of District 5, I have been enabled to serve the entire community of Key West. When I sought this position, I said I wanted financial responsibility, accountability, and transparency in our government. And that is something for which I strive every day that I go to that office, and yes, including weekends, and for every meeting that I attend. I have also heard more and more about various quality of life issues and the responsiveness of our staffs and people. I listen not only to those of you in this room, but I return phone calls, I answer letters, and I do my best to keep in touch with what I call the people on the street, the people I meet at the various grocery stores, hardware stores, and I really strive to keep communications open with those who serve you along with me, the people who work for city government, our police, our fire, our unheralded community services workers, our people at the dock sites, our people on staff at the city, because you know what? Those folks are going to help us make those changes that need to be made. It's those people who know some of the changes that need to be worked on, and I will help them get to those changes. Again, I like to think that I have fought for you on many issues and stood tall when there was a lot of emotion on our dais. I like to come forward with business decisions, not things based on emotion and heartstrings. My last 10 years with IBM allowed me to do a lot of what we call organizational leadership, where we built teams together, and from gathering data, we put together those teams to form strategies and then to implement those strategies, all the while looking out for the best of what would be the best for those businesses, and in our case, the best for our community. Yes, we are those who were born here and those who have chosen to move here, and I'm very grateful for that. And I would be remiss if I didn't say I'm also grateful for all of our military folks who serve here. We can't forget about them as well. I will continue with my service and volunteerism in many organizations that I go to, and I will continue to be a listener and responsive. I want to continue to see fiscal responsibility, accountability, transparency, and responsiveness to our citizens. I ask for you to please let me keep on serving you by voting for me in August. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Margaret. Next up, Carrie Noda. Carrie.
Hi, my name is Estrella Garida Noda. I'm Carrie Noda, and this is my hood. I grew up at 809 Eaton Street. No, I'm by far not J-Lo. The fact is, I am a disaster analyst because of the kind of friends I grew up with. I am a disaster analyst because I am a family drug addiction therapist. I am a disaster analyst because I love medicine, I love doctors, I love nurses, I love EMTs, I love firemen. I was raised in Key West. I learned English at Harris School. I did not speak English until I was in 3rd grade. Some of the people that I learned English with are sitting in here now, and I love to run into them. I went to school at Pace University in New York, and I got a degree in political science. I was invited to come up to the JFK Graduate School at Harvard, and I studied housing, specialized housing. I went to school at La Sorbonne, and I learned French so I could work with the Creoles here in Key West. I understand 4 languages, and thank you, community of Key West. I am one of your daughters. Now, let me tell you this. We talk about affordable housing. I grew up in a beautiful conch house. My mother, my father, and I would walk down the street and yell, "Hey, Roxanne, you got some coffee?" And she'd say, "Come on in and have some coffee." Now, those houses are no longer private residences. We have yet to ask, why do we not have enough affordable houses? It's because many of those beautiful conch houses, after Grandmom and Grandpa found out that they were worth $2 or $3 million, they sold them. They moved to Ocala. Where the hell that is, I still don't know. Yeah, they moved up north, and now we have a lot of B&Bs. Instead of making $2,000, which Grandma was really, really happy with, they make $2,000, $3,000 a week. A week! Okay, so that means, no, you're not going to give up that kind of money, you know, as opposed to renting it to me for $1,500 a month. That is the primary reason that we need affordable housing. Now, I don't even like the concept of saying affordable housing, because when you live up north and your kid gets a degree, they don't say, "Mom and Dad, I want to live in affordable housing in Key West." They say, "I want to live in the Keys. I want to live in Paradise." Paradise is one of my conch houses, not necessarily affordable housing. You know, so we have to take into consideration, how do we define affordable housing? What is affordable housing? Is it anything that the average person with a graduate degree from a good school up in Tallahassee would want to move down here for? Thank you, 30 seconds. Okay, the other thing about disasters. I grew up with some of the worst hurricanes we ever had in our lives down the street. I never had an issue. Now just remember, if we have a Category 5, the only thing you're going to come back down to is a window laying in the middle of the street with no house. Okay, we have to learn what categories are. Category 1, the trees come down. Category 2, your house is probably going to be damaged. Category 3, you're going to spend a lot of money because you're not going to have windows. You're not going to have a backyard. You're not going to have trees. You understand? And most of us do not know that anymore because we're not from here. We're new into the community. Please protect each other. Thank you, Carrie Noda.
Sorry, I was working on our breaking news there. Thank you, Carrie. Terry, come on up. Terry Johnston.
Thank you very much. And first of all, I'd like to give Todd $20 to help cover the food. I'm Terry Johnston, and I'm running for mayor of Key West. For the next 66 days, you've got an opportunity to reach out to every candidate in this room to find out what their platform is, to sit down and talk to them, and to find out their proposed solutions for the city of Key West. I'm running for city of Key West mayor because I have a vision. But I not only have a vision, is I'm very, very optimistic about the future of our community. Do we have issues? Of course we do. We live in the third most expensive county in the United States. And right now we're battling some of the same quality of life issues as every other successful tourism destination is. But it's not rocket science. I mean, those tourist destinations are finding solutions to improve quality of life and continue to improve the product that we are offering our visitors. So here's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with Duval Street. We need to pave Duval Street. We need to paint the curbs. We need to get some benches out there. We need to get some public restrooms. We need to get rid of some of that noise out there. But we also, I am going to push to get a pilot program for a pedestrian mall on Duval Street. And what I really like to do is have Duval Street be the type of street that our families are proud enough to come back to. So, but Key West is far more than just Duval Street. You know, many of the candidates have mentioned it tonight. You know, it's softball teams, and it's bocce leagues, and it's fishermen, and it's boaters, and it's arts aficionados, and music lovers. And I think we also need to pay as much attention to that as we do our economic corridor of Duval Street. I know several people have said that the mayor of Key West is a figurehead. Well, I don't see the mayor of Key West as a figurehead. I see the mayor as a visionary and the moral compass of our community. Yes. So if you agree with that, I would certainly appreciate your vote on August 28th to bring that vision to life. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chair. Is Bill Foley here? Bill, you're on the ballot, come on. Well, Bill's coming up. For all of you candidates, Wayne, this is for you. Wayne, stand up and just identify yourself. The radio stations, they have to, I can't have you come up, but I can point out, 104, 101, 106. 106.9. Yeah, 106.9. Instead of these guys having to chase you down, call them, talk to them, get on the air. That's what they're there for.
296, 1069. Call up.
Okay.
Wednesday mornings.
Come on up, Bill. Bill Foley, everyone.
As fast as I go.
And I already gave the bartender $20, so I think I'm even. Are we starting now? Okay. I see a lot of familiar faces here, so you guys heard my last speech, most of you did. So you know the important things are affordable housing and traffic, which are really the same thing, which I can explain to you in 2 minutes while I hear the clock ticking behind me. So what we're going to go with is fiscal accountability, blowing up the Bubba system. And again, I know you're all looking at me like that's impossible, but I plan on trying. I mean, I can't lose by trying, right? So here is the plan. When you guys elect me, tree commission wiped out. Well, it's not gone. It's just new people on board. People that don't get paid to analyze trees and then vote to remove trees. And you know, a whole lot of crookedness. So that is basically what I'm doing. Blow up the Bubba system. And if there's the the timing guide there, if you want to keep track of how many votes I'm losing by the minute. That's totally fine. I'll be okay with that. And if anyone has seen my campaign t-shirts, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They're not exactly family friendly, but they go straight to that point. So here's what I'm going with. Start keeping track of the votes I'm losing. That's it. I mean, I really appreciate all of your time. Bottom line is, I'm a finance guy. I would be willing to bet that there's not another mayoral candidate that has a copy of the city budget on their coffee table. You do? All right. Good for you. All right. Well, then it's you and me. Bill Foley for mayor.
I just figured I'd bring my wine up for this one. Thank you. Next up, George Bellinger. And these are not hand-railed, these are really expensive speakers.
Well, thank you, Todd. Bill Foley for the entertainment. My name is George Bellinger. I'm a candidate for mayor this year, and proudly been a community activist for over 30 years in Key West. Most common question I was asked this evening was, are you a Republican or a Democrat? And in a non-party race, one of the objects I'm going to try to do is bring people together. I grew up in a household that was Republican. I have conservative values when it comes to fiscal responsibility, security. I also, for years, have been a registered Democrat. I believe in progressive ideas, and I'm also personal liberties, and people should be able to do what they want in their own houses. After the 2016 election, I marched down to Joyce's office, and I became non-party affiliate. So I'm an NPA, not an independent. There's a difference. When I look at the ballot, I don't just go R or D. I like to research the individuals and see what they stand for and make my decisions that way. My campaign team reflects those values. Besides my wife over here, Carla, and my son who've been helping me knock on doors, my two campaign advisors come from both sides of the aisle. Val Marmelian is back there. Val, if you don't know Val, he was presidential advisor for Jimmy Carter and the first Clinton. He does national campaigns. He's helping with my messaging, which, sorry Val, I'm not staying on right now, but I'll get back to it. My other campaign advisor is Bob Harvey, and you might know him as Craig Cates' campaign manager for the last 5 elections. Bob comes from a Republican background. I don't think I'm talking out of school, but Val and Bob both similarly went down to the elections campaign, renounced their party, and now they are non-party affiliated. So we're concentrating on issues. And if you know my background, I've been involved with the environment, I've been involved with business, I've been involved with local issues. I'll put locals first. We also need to concentrate on our future security. One of the really nice things about local elections is getting to meet people. And recently, I sat down with Eric Sutton, who's the executive director of the Fish and Wildlife, and we discussed crocodiles. I don't know if you guys have in your backyard. And then I was also had the pleasure of speaking with Ken Graham, and he's the National Hurricane Advisor up in Miami. What I found out talking to Ken is we're both scared of the same thing, and that's teaching our teenagers how to drive. My time is up. My name is George Bellinger. I'm a candidate for mayor this year. Please, if you do have issues you'd like to discuss with me, I'd be glad to. Thank you for attending.
Thank you, George. Next up, Randy Becker. Come on, Randy.
I'm Randy Becker, for the people, for the future. We often hear in this city about crisis, the affordable housing crisis, the sea level rise crisis, the parking and traffic crisis, and so much more. Yet we have these challenges ahead of us, but let's talk about opportunities instead. Opportunities to act now in ways which will lead us to a better future. Key West's best days are still ahead of us, and with the right leadership, we can move into that better future. But we need to seize the opportunities more than just have tired old solutions or procrastination from people who have been in leadership positions in the past and have left us with the same old problems. We need visionary ideas and knowledgeable leadership to address the challenges so we aren't another decade down the road dealing with the same problems. I'm Randy Becker, and I want to lead us into that new, better direction. I know our city and its neighborhoods well through all kinds of active participation in numerous civic and community organizations. You've seen me engaged in all kinds of civic activity and witness events in the past decade. I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. I'm a candidate for all the people, known as a coalition builder, focused on the common good, not in the pocket of any special interest. I can represent the city of Key West to the county, to the state, and to the nation and the world in a way that will make our city proud. I'm a person of integrity and vision who will uphold the highest ethical standards and respect the trust that citizens put in their elected leaders. In the brief time allotted to me here now, it's impossible to get into too many specific details about concerns in all these areas. So I brought copies of my call to action brochure, which has 65 specific ways that I will support moving into the future. Get it? It's available right over here on the table. And it'll tell you what I'm supporting and where I'm aiming. And you may still have other questions and comments and concerns that you'd like to express to me personally. So you are all invited later this evening, yes, later this evening, right after this ends, to join me in a question and answer, common conversation town hall meeting over in the sanctuary of St. Paul's on Duval Street. I look forward to a conversation with all of you. Randy Becker, for the people, for the future. Thank you.
Okay, we're up for our last candidate before our breaking news, and I'll introduce he really is my good friend, and he represents the Lunatic Party, Saul Kaczynski.
Again.
All right. Well, the Lunatic Party. Now, everybody knows Key West is an open-air insane asylum. So you would want to probably elect the chief lunatic. That would be me. Everybody agrees with that. There's another thing about me. It says, a lot of people say Key West is where the weird go pro. Well, until Mr. Foles got up, I thought I was the only professional weirdo running for mayor. I'd like to call my copyright lawyer about it. He infringed my patent. And I don't remember seeing him though at any city commission meetings like the hundreds I attended, trying to get the bubble system blown up. And the county commission, I did that there too. I did it at the school board meetings. I am your professional weirdo. The rest of them are amateurs. You know, if Ed Swift got arrested and put in jail for his transient rentals, Instead of, oh, Mr. Swift, we're so sorry to see you in front of us again. And no, we're not going to reduce your fine this time. That's how I deal with it. That's how professionals deal with it. Yeah, Brigham Singh came before the city commission, old Barton Smith. I said, Mr. Singh, Mr. Smith, you have screwed this city every time we come before us. I'm voting against you because every time you get what you want from us, you come up smelling like roses and we come up smelling like shit. You want to do something about the tree commission? Take away their money. Say you can't cut down trees just because you want to build a swimming pool or convert to a guest house. If you remove a big tree, you have to replace it with a big tree, not 25 little bitty trees. Just practical, professional stuff. You want to do something about the cruise ships? The dirtiest, worst possible cruise ships been calling, and you know it, on Key West for decades, and the city has done nothing about it, and it knows it. Just ban them. Don't let them come in the harbor.
Yeah.
This is what a professional does. Of course, it takes 7 or at least 4 votes to do it. So when these people get up and say, I'm going to do all this shit, you know they ain't going to do any of it because they're not going to get 3 more votes. But I would be more entertaining than any mayor.
That's what an undergrad at Vanderbilt and a law degree from the University of Alabama. All right, now the breaking news. Breaking news is so complicated, I can't really even give it to you the right way. Gwen's got it back there. Joyce was here. Evidently, there was a question on Mark Rossi's eligibility to be on the ballot. Evidently, there was a question. He did not get his money in on time today. Although the supervised elections office had put on the website that he had qualified, so it's questioned. So Joyce, to help the other candidates out so they don't have to do it, she is filing a lawsuit for, I guess, a declaratory judgment loan, something along those lines. Yeah. And he really is a lawyer. So we'll know. Joyce said it's tricky because she goes to print on Wednesday. And she's going to try to get some kind of answer by Monday or Tuesday. Otherwise, she's going to default by putting Mark's name on the ballot. And then that could get interesting.
Is Joyce here?
She is, but she was, but she cannot speak about it because she filed a lawsuit. We do have, anybody who wants to is welcome to see this. I'm sure it'll be in the papers tomorrow. Makes things even more interesting than you've seen they already are. So, with that, no, I can't.
There's more. She thinks she may have made a mistake.
Right, it's very complicated. Yeah, so we will see. It's never simple. But that's why we're all here. And thank you all for coming. Please join Hometown. Talk with the candidates. That's why they're here. Some of them traveled quite a ways. Thanks so much. We're almost on time. Thank you, everyone. Wait, I'm sorry. There's something here that I didn't listen to. Don't leave, we have a congressional candidate. I want to introduce Demetrius Grimes. He's running for U.S. Congress. Come on up, Demetrius. I very much apologize.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Hometown. Thank you, citizens, for being here. It's a great honor to be here. And before I start, I just want to say the situation at the border with the family separations is taking our country to new lows. And Amy, I don't speak just for Amy, but I speak for a lot of people. This is it's not a political issue, it's a humanitarian issue.
Yes.
Our nation can do better. If our laws aren't there to help us, then we need to change the laws or change the people who make the laws.
Yes. Amen.
I'm Commander Demetrius Grimes, U.S. Navy, retired. I'm a second generation U.S. Navy veteran. My father was an enlisted man, a chief. He served more than 23 years. I served more than 25 years. I'm also the son of an immigrant. I'm running for the 26th district to represent you as a Democrat. And I'm the only candidate from either party, actually, that's running to truly represent you. Because I'm not being sponsored by a party, and I don't owe any favors to any special interest. Yeah, so there's a lot of talk about turning the district red to blue. We're going to turn it red to navy blue if you're serious about bringing a candidate in who's going to represent you. Okay? So like I said, I've had more than 25 years of serving our nation. I was an aviator, I was a diplomat, seven deployments, more than 100 combat missions, 2 tours in Afghanistan. I've served in the Pentagon, I've served in the White House as an aide to President Bill Clinton. I was a diplomat in Greece and Israel as the U.S. Naval Attaché, so I've represented our nation to foreign nations. And I've prepared congressmen and senators for their meetings with foreign heads of state and foreign leadership, foreign military leadership. I've also run a forward operating base on the island of Crete, one of our strategic forward operating bases that takes care of all our operations into Africa and the Middle East. Education, undergrad, Boston University, postgraduate studies at Naval War College, MBA from the London Business School. My last assignment, I was in London. I was an advisor to NATO's Global Maritime Commander, dealing with Russian aggression and other issues which I don't have time to get into here right now. But what I want to say is my call sign in the Navy was dimes, because I have a reputation of finding money and getting things done. And that's what I'm going to do for you. In my early days in the Pentagon, I took care of business for the Navy. As a commander of the base, I did the same thing. And I'm going to do it for you. I'm the only candidate who has real-world executive leadership and diplomatic experience. And I bring credibility to this district and the attention that it needs to take care of our issues, whether it's education, health care, dignity and respect for all citizens. All citizens. When I say all, I mean everyone. And protecting our environment. So thank you. So look me up on Grimes for Congress, or come in the back and talk to Val, JC, there he is, Danny. But look me up, grimesforcongress.com. I'm looking forward to serving you and the people of this district. We have a unique opportunity to elect a veteran to office for the first time in decades down here.
Anyone else? Have a wonderful evening, everyone.